It's January 24th, 2024. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. Not much has happened in the world of wrestling, so I guess we'll have a short show today. Not much to talk about, and that'll be that. Jeremy Lambert here. How you doing?
We're here to talk about J-Dub, Jalen Williams, game winner, cash money against the Portland Trailblazers last night. That's all that happened last night. No idea what else was going on in the world. J-Dub, OKC Thunder, Thunder up, baby.
The big news coming out of Tuesday night, believe it or not, Ava Rain is the youngest NXT general manager in WWE. That's the news.
Seems like nepotism.
It does, doesn't it? It felt like somebody made a phone call and said, "Hey, put her at the head of the NXT table."
Yeah, it feels little curious that someone gets a board director position, and then 12 hours later, his daughter is the NXT general manager. Little sus there.
Hold on, back it up. Who got a what board position? What are you talking about?
Brad Keywell.
Right. I thought I remember that name. There's a relation between Brad and Ava?
If you dig deep enough, everybody's separated by 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
That is accurate. Well, you're also separated by leaving us a thumbs up and, of course, subscribing to us here at Fightful Overbooked. Not my best segue, but damn it, I'm always going to try. And, of course, you can donate to Super Chat. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. Plenty to talk about today, despite our belief that there isn't Jeremy Lambert. How are you? How are you actually feeling? You sound good. That's a plus.
I do sound a little bit better. I feel a little bit better. Still have a cough. You'll probably see me coughing and muting a lot throughout this show, but I am a little bit better. I'm feeling got to get better. It's a big weekend, and yesterday was a news day that I certainly was not expecting. I try to take Tuesdays off, Joel.
Same.
This is allegedly something I try to do. I very rarely succeed. Definitely failed yesterday. Definitely failed. My poor lovely wife. I wasn't feeling well all weekend. I was feeling awful this weekend. People, if you saw me on the show on Monday, you know how great I was not feeling. So my poor lovely wife, she wanted to let me sleep in yesterday. She saw the news about The Rock, that was being appointed to the board, and she's like, I don't want to wake him for this. That was not to her worthy of waking me up for. That to her, she's like, that's not worthy of waking Jeremy up for to do this. But then the Raw Netflix deal gets announced, and she's like, okay, that's worthy to wake him up. So I told her, I was like, Rock being appointed to the board, you wake me up for that one next time. She, bless her, she just wants to take care of me and wants me to sleep. It doesn't want me to write about wrestling. But once the Raw Netflix deal got announced, she's like, all right, I guess I gotta wake them up. And then they're on CNBC, they're on Fox News, they're on ESPN, they're on McAfee Show. It was a busy day yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of coverage going on. You guys, you specifically, and of course the news team getting a lot of work done. But you know what? We have more news because this is what we do here on the show. Let's bring on some news. Oh, it's ZNN is here.
Man, is just
hello, boys.
Let unto himself. Hello, Zarian. How are you?
I'm trapped in the void.
You had a nice Judgment Day homage with the going on with the purple and black there.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm wearing the black shirt.
Yeah.
I got the purple going behind me. I'm building a studio here.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's coming along. I'm at the Bold Truth Studios.
Zarian, I have a very important question for you. Why are you a fake reporter and you didn't break this news of Raw going to Netflix like a real wrestling journalist would have?
Right.
Well, let me explain to you how things work. There's something called, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, insider trading. Okay.
No, this is news. Hold on. Let's make sure this is right. Hold on.
What?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
All right. So high level financial gains for a publicly traded company, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's, let's say, 7 people privy to this negotiation. What would possess any of them to go and be like, hey, Joel, guess what? Netflix is going to pay us $5 billion. But don't tell anyone, and make sure you don't buy any of the stock. Listen, sometimes things leak. It's a slippery slope. The same goes for why nobody really knew about this WBD meeting, right? The supposed WBD meeting. There's a lot of stuff that people don't release, and rightfully so. You don't talk about it. Generally, the things leak when it hits the lower level. That's how it works. Like you have, C-level conversations, then you go to the other executive level, then it goes down the chain, and by the time it goes down the chain, a lot of people have already known it within the company, and it's essentially a done deal. They're not going to risk this. Also, NDAs get signed when you're in a high-level negotiation. Tony, for example, let's bring him up. He's not going to sacrifice blowing a deal by leaking information to the media. WWE definitely is not going to do that. And when things trickle down, guess what? It generally happens when people want things to come out, especially on that level. So I can't see Nick Khan or Ari Emanuel jeopardizing a lucrative deal to tell a friend.
Now, what if it was Christmas Eve and they've had too much eggnog? Then would it have leaked?
Well, the SEC doesn't care then. The Securities and Exchange Committee, they're not gonna. They're gonna be like, well,
it's on vacation, it's holiday.
Yeah, Ari Emanuel had a couple eggnogs, and now he's blabbing to the entire town about this billions and billions of dollar deal. Sometimes people, it's not. How do people not know when Tesla's doing something until Tesla announces it? These are high level conversations that happen, and most of the time people aren't running to the media.
I think people have a very, I don't want to say everybody, it's not everybody, certainly not our audience. Our audience is very smart, but a lot of idiots online who are just like, how did Dave and Sean and Andrew not, are you drinking the liquid death? My God, Zarian.
I want to point out, You put it in front of the screen just so that no one says, "Oh my God, is he having a beer at this hour?"
I did. My friend Joanna Angel sent me this.
Oh, your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But people are like,
she's an ambassador.
People are like, why aren't the wrestling reporters breaking this? It's like,
well, first of all, I'm not a reporter. Let's start that. I'm not a journalist.
Make that very clear.
I make that very clear. I'm not a reporter. I report things, but I don't identify as a reporter. Some people may think I am, but I'm not. I just know things sometimes. In this case, a lot of the time now, it could go away tomorrow. Someone could get fired at a place and then it doesn't happen anymore, and I'm fine. And I just talk about wrestling like I normally did. Sean is a reporter, but Sean isn't going to C-level executives and asking for quotes or building the relation, or maybe he is. I don't, he could be, but the odds of you getting that, especially to a wrestling journalist, right? If you're WWE, you're going to go to the Wall Street Journal. You're going to go to Business Insider. You're going to go to a top-notch financial. CNBC was the one that really had this.
Yeah.
And none of us are on that level of access to these people. And we shouldn't be. It's not what we do. We talk about, the silliness of professional wrestling.
That's the thing. Again, I don't think people fully understand sometimes is I talk about all the time with media coverage, and when people are like, oh, they're going to do Rock and Roman in Australia. No, they're not. They're going to do that at Mania because the media coverage is levels above for something like that. And it's the same thing with this. Why are they going to go to, this is why they give like even wrestling stories. It's like, we're giving this to Sports Illustrated. Even though Sports Illustrated is a small subsection of wrestling, and like, I don't know, Fightful might do better wrestling traffic than Sports Illustrated. People know what Sports Illustrated is. That's why they get match announcement on Raw. Something is, this happened. This has happened, by the way, like as first announced by Sports Illustrated. Jade Cargill, didn't they get that announcement? Like as first reported by Sports Illustrated, Jade Cargill has signed. And it's like, well, yeah, because WWE just told them to report that. Sean was the one who actually kind of reported that, but they just give it to Sports Illustrated. That's why they give any of these big announcements, CNBC, Fox, CNN, whatever it might be. It's going to be the actual top media outlets. No offense to us, what we do, but we are wrestling specific and don't have the reach to outside of wrestling most of the time.
This may shock you. This may
Go
shock
ahead, sorry, Joel.
Nick Khan did not want to be on our show. That was
I asked Nick Khan. Old Nick wouldn't come on our show. But I'll ask The Rock. I asked Cody Rhodes to be on Spotlight. I mean, Cody Rhodes is a red, but like, I'll shoot these shots. I don't mind doing that, but yeah, they're probably not appearing on our silly little morning show when they can go on McAfee's show.
We should just rename.
I thought that tweet. The tweets that I got, Dave got, and Sean got, like, oh yeah, some journalists, you guys are, you didn't have this. I'm like, Dave, why would we? This is a new realm in pro wrestling, right? The publicly traded pro wrestling aspect is a 20-year-old thing. Network deals to this level is a 10-year thing, 5-year thing that WWE is able to cash in so much money. They have evolved beyond wrestling. The Dave Meltzers and the Sean Ross Epps and the Andrew Zarians do not matter when it is a high-level talk like this. The Rock, right? How would any of us have that information? That they are going to pay The Rock $30 million over the next 2 years to sit on the board of directors. That is a high-level negotiation, and Dwayne is not going to sit there and be like, hey, Dave, guess what happened? Even though they're pals. I'm just letting you know tomorrow this is coming out. I'm sure some people knew, but
too much of that Terramana, he might be, calling up.
I like that Terramana. That Terramana is good. I had some of that last night, actually.
Is it good? I've never
yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, it's better than Conor McGregor's whiskey. I'll tell you that.
Well,
I've never had either.
As soon as you could.
Never had either. I want to try both, just because, I'm a shill and a mark for celebrity products. I was like, yeah, The Rock's tequila.
I'm gonna plug a celebrity product.
Let's go.
Lisa Ann's wine.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
It's fantastic. I have a case of it. It is fantastic.
This is an easy joke to make. Does it age as well as her?
Nice.
It ages just as well as her.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was part of the that was probably part of her Q&A sheet when she did the media for this one. Does it age as well?
I'm just giving plugs for my friends now. I'm giving a Liquid Death plug for Joanna Angel now, and I'm giving it to Lisa Ann Wine.
Why not? What's wrong? Who are these people, Andrew? I've never heard of these names.
They are world-class entertainers.
Google these people, everybody.
Maybe turn off your safe search.
Don't do
it at work.
Yeah, don't do it at work.
By the way,
this whole Google.
So I'm in California. I'm in Beverly Hills right now. I can't adjust to the time zone. I was up at 3 a.m. and I've just been working.
It's 7 a.m. over there for you?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What are you doing on this stupid show?
I have nothing else to do. My life is empty.
Fair.
I have no house to go to.
Are you meeting with Warner Brothers, Andrew?
I did have an interesting meeting at Stake 48 on Monday with somebody that is a very, very big player in the entertainment world, and he told me some interesting things.
What did Nick Khan tell you?
You know what Nick Khan has told me? I have great eyebrows.
That sounds like something he would say.
Nick Khan has told me that. Stephanie McMahon also told me I have great eyebrows.
Wow.
Coming from her, that is a very big compliment. I'm not being facetious here.
No,
what did Zaslav tell you?
He told me to go F myself. He said AEW is not getting renewed, and AEW is headed to Tubi.
That's good. That's better. That's better than Cedric the Entertainer special. You can't find that shit on Netflix. That shit ain't on Tubi.
Yeah. So I sometimes like I hear things and I forget, like, because I'm not a journalist or a reporter, and then it just pops in my mind. So yesterday when the whole WWE rights thing was happening, I posted a little fun fact that somebody that is very in the know of what AEW is looking to do and what Warner's looking to do sent me an interesting message like a couple days ago, and I was waiting to talk about it on my show, but I don't have a studio right now, so I'm not going to talk about it. That they're also looking to do some sort of hybrid broadcast between linear and Max. So much like how the NBA, Jeremy, you're a big NBA fan. They simulcast it, allegedly. They simulcast some of the NBA games on Max.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And TV is headed that way. That is going to be something that is very common now to capitalize, because remember, Nielsen now is incorporated in all these services. So if you could capitalize, like Netflix, for example, right? Netflix has 250 million subscribers. If you could capitalize on simulcasting something like that, you're just growing. It's more accessibility. So being a one-stop shop doesn't matter anymore. You could kind of diversify and have it on linear and have it on streaming at the same time.
Professor mentioned this. UFC does it on with ESPN, ESPN Plus. Look, even Monday Night Football. I know it's not like an app, but they'll just you can watch the game on ABC. You can watch the game on ESPN. You want the Manning cast? You go to ESPN2. Like just the various ways, the various outlets to watch, depending on what you're subscribed to or what you're looking for.
You know, TV's changing. Viewership habits have totally changed. Media consumption has radically changed from the pandemic. You know, there's this thing called TikTok now that has capitalized on media consumption and nobody is talking about it. Watch minutes, okay? Watch minutes have totally shifted in the favor of short clips consumed on your phone in a vertical scroll. There are times that I have Raw on or I have SmackDown on. By the way, I just got the latest research papers on the Netflix deal as of 9:38 today. I just got sent this. It's interesting. I got to read that in a little bit. I love
Just
the
read it on
financial
air.
stuff.
Who cares?
Yeah,
I get such a boner for numbers. It's unbelievable. I'm going to start marketing a shirt with my face on. It says boner for numbers. I love the finance stuff. And
How do you feel
life,
about the number 7, Andrew Zarian?
You know, it's okay. Not my favorite. Joel
Really?
knows my favorite number.
I do.
It's a 2-digit number.
It
And they
is.
kind of intertwine together, those two numbers.
88.
Favorite number.
88. That's Nazi. That's a Nazi. Do that. People tried to cancel me over that.
Only I can make that joke on this stream. I'm the only one who can do that.
Wait, I'm missing something. Why is that a cancelable joke?
In prison culture, the 8 is a reference. The 88 is a reference to the letter H, because H is the 8th letter of the alphabet, and you put an H and H together. It's not Hulk Hogan, brother. It's another thing that people would say with their arms outstretched.
The big hello. The big hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a thing. That's prison culture. And when people brought it up, it'd be like, no one remembers that. And it's funny because like most people don't really associate that. But I just remember one time David Bixenspan bringing it up and him being like, yeah, like talking about it. And I would just say, yeah, no, nobody thinks about that. But it's weird that I know this.
Yeah. Some people think about it and want to cancel you for it. Someone tried to get me fired because I had 88 in my Twitter handle.
God forbid you be born.
And they thought that you were one of those people. Okay.
Yeah, they messaged Sean. They're like, "Why do you employ a Nazi?" Jeremy Lambert has 88 in his Twitter handle, and I'm like, "It's my birth year. Sorry."
1988. Yeah. Oh my God, that's unbelievable.
Fantastic.
I do have to say, the lighting makes my skin look great in here.
Yeah.
You look fantastic. You're already a very beautiful man, but
thank you.
Eyebrows look great.
I'm just fishing for a compliment. I got them done. I had to go get them done.
Where'd you
lady. This Russian lady. I went to European Wax Center right before I left. Listen, I know I'm absurd. I get it, right? Like I know, like I could talk about serious stuff, and then I can talk about 69ing. You know, like it's a bizarre world I live in.
That's why we love you, Andrew Zarian.
Listen, you gotta. Life is too short to take it serious.
No, we talk about wrestling. It's very serious. Very serious. Life or death conversation.
The outrage, though, I don't know. I don't know if it's the general climate of people, like just things, right? I think people are just very worked up and aggressive over the last couple of years. But the amount of things I get roped into now, like it's no longer that they don't agree with what I'm saying. Now it's blatant lies about things I've never reported.
Oh yeah, people think they're being funny or they're being trolls and they're getting their jokes off, but unfortunately the jokes need to be funny.
But it's not no. Like for whatever reason, people think that I reported that the Saudis were buying WWE. I never did.
Oh, that wasn't you.
That was not you.
That was not me. And you know, and the story that came out, I'm not going to name the name, but I had a conversation with him or her or they, whatever they want to go by. And I said, like, I'm not too. I mean, I'm hearing it too, but I would not too soon. And again, that's something that would not come out.
Yeah, that wouldn't come out through a wrestling reporter.
Nope.
And that's why it didn't. That's why the first person who actually had that was, I think CNBC was the outlet that.
You can tell that they're going to CNBC for anything that is related to their television distribution, any sort of like product distribution. It's going to CNBC, not just because there's a relationship there for many, many years, but just because they trust them to be the people who report on it the most.
Yeah, CNBC was the outlet who reported like Sunday afternoon before Mania, hey, this deal is close to being done. And then, of course, it got announced like 6 a.m. the next morning.
And it's so funny. You want to talk about how like wrestling media people get treated in this sphere sometimes. Then you go into a WrestleMania press conference after the show, and the first question that gets asked is like, hey, rumblings of a sale or rumblings of a merger. And like the immediate thing is to shut it down. It's like, I don't expect you to talk about it, but at least like make reference to the fact that yes, I hear that it's being reported. We're whatever. We'll have comment when we're ready.
That's a great question.
Yeah, and you know, like if it was a done deal, right? Like if someone had told me, honestly, if someone had said to me, like, oh yeah, the Saudis are buying, or UFC's buying, or Endeavor's buying WWE, I would honestly, and I would speak to somebody, which I do. One of my closest friends, he is a major player in the financial world. I mean, an executive level for one of the biggest financial institutions on this planet. Okay.
Bill Gates.
I would go to him and say, is this something I should be is this something okay for me to say? Because I was told this. And you know what he would tell me? Absolutely not. Shut your mouth. Don't get involved. Because that you're talking about high level, billions and billions of dollars of transactions that will be affected by one tweet. That's not what I do.
This is great advice for everybody and I've said it many times, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Well, I'll tell you, like, I know something very big. I don't feel comfortable saying it. I would not tell anybody. You know, there's one big story. It's nothing like sensational. Okay. It's not like a sensation, but I know something is going on regarding a deal. It's not the AEW deal. And I'm not that person. I'm not comfortable even repeating it to anybody because there's a lot of money that will be exchanged.
Oh, you're gonna get, fortunately nobody watches this show, but if they did, they would get that Andrew Zarian is saying something big is about to happen.
No.
Eyeball emoji.
No, well, it wouldn't matter to 90. It has nothing to do with TV or what you're gonna see. It's to me, because I like the numbers stuff, it's a big thing. I like the financial side of coverage. I'm not gonna say it. I also know a specific date for something that I'm never gonna say.
Just tell me, Andrew Zarian.
I know a date for something.
Anything. You know I don't leak anything.
Well, I was told specifically, do not mention this. So I'm not. But we're you know what? You'll start figuring it out on my Twitter when I start dropping little hints here and there. I like to have fun with this. It's fun. You got to have fun.
Should be fun.
People need to have patience. It should be fun.
Not everyone needs to be in the know 24/7. Sometimes a surprise is a good surprise.
Okay, I got it. Here you go. You ready for this?
Sometimes something is just a heat check too.
Sasha Banks is #1 in the men's rumble.
Again?
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
I hope
#1.
I hope the crew's watching, so because she's apparently doing an Instagram live thing right now. So there you go.
The worst fan base on the planet.
Sasha Banks is doing an Instagram live thing right now.
Yeah, it's called "What Do You Guys Want to Talk About?"
This isn't true. Stop.
Maybe she scoops herself.
Hold on, I will take the photo. Not the photo. Hold on.
Oh, don't. Why are you doing this?
This is stupid. No. This isn't like newsworthy stuff. This is just her being a troll on her Instagram. She didn't make it Sasha Banks. She's still Mercedes Bernardo.
Yeah, it's still Mercedes.
She's doing a subscriber social thing. So what do you guys want to talk about?
Oh, what is the subscriber social?
So if you subscribe to people on Instagram, you can do threads. You can do like lives for subscribers, things like that. You pay for like exclusive content through there.
Oh, they got to stop all of this. Everyone just stop. Just don't don't do anything. Just let me rest. That's all I care about. Just let me rest.
We should all be hibernating right now.
So I have a question. When do you think we get Tony Khan as a big announcement?
Oh, for like very soon? When do we get it?
Yeah.
Oh man. I would wait until after Revolution.
I don't think so. I don't think they can. Or maybe they do. No, they can't.
No, you're right. They can't. You
they
got to
can't.
do it. Then you got to do it when there's a lull in the storytelling for Revolution, because there always is. They set up 3 big matches and they pound it to bits. They pound it to bits, and then they let it sit for until the week before the pay-per-view. That's been traditionally the build to a pay-per-view for AEW. So when you do it in the middle of February when it's the dead of February.
Yeah. I think that would be it. That would be the time that you hear something. I don't know. It's fun, dude. This is all fun stuff. I don't know why people get so crazy and they're arguing over a simulated sport where men and women are in their underwear and they're just tussling.
I mean, it's like sports in a way where people have their teams and they, vociferously argue about who's better or how the referees are crooked or how you need to fire the ownership or whatever it is. It's no different. At the end of the day, I just kind of sit back and I say, all right, well, am I entertained by this? Yeah. Am I going to go to the ballpark and sit there and talk to my friend while maybe someone socks dingers? Sure, let's go. Am I going to go watch hockey at the T-Mobile Arena where the Vegas Knights play and just kind of sit there and enjoy watching these people play hockey? Yeah. Do I have a vested interest? Absolutely. Not at all.
Yeah, well, it's the people who take it to the extremes of, I want this person fired. I want this person.
Well, what happens is it becomes a religion. That's what happens. And the same thing happens here, right? You're on either this side or that side. It becomes a religion and it becomes very dangerous. And people start, like, one guy goes, if Mercedes isn't in the Rumble, then you're done. You're over. And
yes, the careers hinge on this.
My entire
legacies are on the line.
Hey, guess what? I don't make a fucking dime from wrestling. Whatever money I get from Observer, guess who I give it to? My producers. I've never taken a dime from this. I pay whatever money I make, those Patreon and those donations that we get or whatever, it goes all to everybody else. I do this for fun. I don't want to do this for money because then it becomes a hyper obsessive thing for me. And I won't concentrate on my real job that gives me a really good living. So I don't want to do that. I think people need to take it easy. Unless you're financially invested in this, it has no impact on your life.
Get a job.
Watch what you like. Don't watch what you don't like. And then fuck off.
This was a really funny conversation that I had recently with a wrestler where they were like, how do you watch so much wrestling? Like, how do you choose to watch that much wrestling? I said, I don't choose to watch that much, but there are people who do, or some people who feel like they need to watch everything in order to know everything. And it's not the case. It's not how it works. And like some people will forego their enjoyment of wrestling in order to say they watch all the wrestling. But there are ways to keep up with it without watching, 70 hours a week. And these people, like these wrestlers, they're not watching everything. Some are, bless them if they are, but like some are, most aren't. And they look at us and they're just like, the hell's wrong with you? And they're right.
I don't watch any wrestling. The show is background noise to me.
We talked about that too. That for many people, it is a second screen experience. Yeah. They asked me, they're like, how do you watch it? I was like, I've got 2 screens in front of me. I've got one that is on if I'm doing something else, and then I have the wrestling and I have my headphones on and I'm listening and I focus based on what's going on. Like, so you don't pay like 100% attention unless I'm covering a show. I am not paying 100% attention. And there was another conversation that I had recently where I said, doing a morning show was probably the best thing I could ever have asked for because I don't care for doing like post-show recaps. Yeah. I care about talking about the talking points from a show. And therefore I can tell you, like, I'll tell you flat out, did I watch the 3rd hour of Monday Night Raw? No, I saw Hogan on my screen and I was like, peace out, going to bed.
Fake fan.
Yeah, I'll watch the highlights in the morning. Hey, that's what the highlight was. Me not watching. Yeah, good for you. I ain't watching that, brother. Instead, I was like, I'm gonna peace out. I'm gonna go do my thing, and I'll catch it in the morning, maybe. But I saw the high spot. And that was
Fake
it.
Fan.
Fake fan. Good. Fine.
You're not a real fan if you didn't sit through that Drew McIntyre and Damien Priest main event.
Yes, there you go.
Guys,
Cancel me.
Do you guys have a guest coming on today, other than me?
No.
Okay. Do you want to do a Q&A with the audience?
No, I'm afraid to do that. The audience right now is discussing right before we got on the air. This is funny that, of course, I mulled over what the hell the thumbnail should be for this show today. And I went through 3 different options. One was, of course, the TV deal. And I was like, everyone else talked about the TV deal. And like, I know Jeremy is not going to care in the same way because it's not about storyline, which is something we like to talk about on the show. And then the other thing was the CM Punk and Cody Rhodes promo. And I'm like, we're going to talk about that anyway. But like, I think that everything else has kind of played its course in terms of the SEO. So instead, I went with The Rock and Roman and WrestleMania, and the reasons why maybe this could be pushed for another year, given The Rock's new TKO status. Well, of course, the moment that I do that, there's an article that drops from Justin Barrasso and SI, where there's a bit of a conversation about Triple H, sources close to Triple H saying that he told Cody that the story might not finish at this year's WrestleMania. So,
but you got to pivot. It's unfortunate. Like, I want to see Cody finally win that title, but you have a very unique opportunity right now. You know, Sports Illustrated, I think they also said that the match is going to be Cody and Punk.
Yeah.
And Gunther and Rollins.
Yeah.
So I imagine Gunther wins the Rumble because originally I know that was supposed to be the match. It was supposed to be Gunther and Rollins at Mania before the whole CM Punk thing happened.
So I don't know because I haven't read this is the problem with aggregation accounts is that I get a 2-sentence headline of someone saying something. I haven't read the article yet. I haven't had a chance to because we've been talking here. There's a part of me that's like, what if it's a vibe check from WWE? Because we just talked about people giving stories or giving, concepts to other outlets to report on. What if we're dealing with the vibe check? What if it's just an idea and we're going to see how people respond? And we have A, B, and C. And I don't put it past WWE now as it stands with their current creative team to have an A, B, and C for WrestleMania and no firm plan in place other than firm ideas. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a heat check.
I'm sure it is. I mean, they do that all the time, and people don't even know. Like, WWE is a PR machine. They put stuff out there just to test the waters to see the gauge and how people are going to interact with it. It could be. I mean, that could have been the plan at one point. But I do like what they're doing storyline wise. I mean, we could go into it a little bit. I very much enjoyed what they did on Raw, and I do like how they are doing. AEW is doing the same thing too. It's not one contender for the title; it's everybody gunning for it. So right now, everybody, you have Seth in the mix. You have now Gunther possibly in the mix. You got Drew McIntyre. You got Cody Rhodes. You got CM Punk. You got Roman Reigns on the other side. You got The Rock on the other side. There's so many moving parts where you want to see what happens next, and it's kind of reminiscent of what it was like in 1999. 2000 when you had everybody gunning for the titles.
I think that I like your point about it being a possible vibe check, Joel. Let's see what the reaction is to this. I like the segment on Monday with Rollins saying, I'm going to be Mania. I'm going to work through it. Like I'm going to be there to defend this title. And then Gunther coming out because I've said it many times. I think whoever wins the Rumble should challenge for Roman. They've done a really great job of making it seem like, you know what? Roman isn't the guy that needs to be challenged for the Rumble. Punk has a legitimate reason to go after Seth Rollins. Gunther has a legitimate reason to go after Seth Rollins. They've interacted. There's a healthy workhorse respect. And Gunther, even though he is, protect the mat is sacred. Like, he sees an injured champion, he's not going to, cash in an opportunity or something like that. It's like, hey, if you're going to step in this ring to fight me, that's on you. If you're banged up, you're banged up. I'm still going to put you down. So I like that they added another potential guy who can win the Rumble and then not go after Roman, which I thought would be foolish at first. So credit to them for actually, doing this and making me believe, hey, if Gunther wins, he can go after Seth. If CM Punk wins, he could go after Seth. Go ahead, Joel.
So I'm reading the article. I'm reading Barrasso's article. First of all, he's a good writer. I've never said that he's not. To me, this feels like a it's like a Tokyo Sport article. And if people know, they know. Tokyo Sport, they kind of run with the kayfabe while they're maybe reporting something. And this kind of feels that way while I'm reading it. Like this is the opening. WrestleMania 40 card taking shape. The Rock is headed back to WrestleMania. Bayley is about to get her moment, and Gunther will soon be a made man. Oh, and one more detail: Roman Reigns is going to keep his seat at the head of the table. And for me, it's like this is opening up as an opinion piece about WrestleMania and what it
with
could
some
be,
facts.
with some facts. And to me, that reads like a Tokyo Sport article where they present reporting and facts, and they say, like, Rollins revealed on Raw that he has a grade 2 MCL tear, and then they mention Gunther, and then where does this leave Cody Rhodes? And they say, oh, it'll be a marquee matchup with ... CM Punk, and they go into some reporting, and then they move it back and forth. So to me, I think it feels like a vibe check. It just feels like these are what we've been told. Now let's see how people react.
Also, if I'm in creative, right, and I'm pitching this, right, and then you're gonna say, well, why aren't you going for Roman, right? Why isn't Punk going for Roman? And I'm pitching this, and I'm the one pitching that they don't go after Roman. My response would be, because they're not ready for Roman, and they know it. Nobody's ready for Roman. He's the most dominant champion of the last 40 years in this company. Nobody wants to go there because everybody has failed. Every single champion that has gone after him has failed. And I think that's creative. I kind of like that. But the other element here is, what do you do now with Roman? Who beats him? Is it Dwayne?
No.
The guy that sits on the board of directors is going to beat him and then hold the title for when? For how long?
Well, Roman's going to hold it till September to surpass Hogan. If Roman wins, he's getting to September.
You know what's really funny, Jeremy? That was a story that came out that I reported that I never did. That he was going to beat Hogan's record, and I was specifically told that's not in the plans. This is like 2 years ago when I broke the story that they're looking to update the history books. You know, they like that. They like to have an updated history book. I don't know if he's going to September. You know, I don't know
if he gets past Mania, he's going to September.
So okay, sorry, I'm gonna come in here with the Roman and Rock stuff. Yeah. I want to quickly, because we started talking about where this could be, and I said in the thumbnail that it could be WrestleMania 41. So this all kind of ties together in the fact that WWE is going to be moving Raw over to Netflix, okay, in 2025. WrestleMania 41 would hypothetically be the first WrestleMania on, and this is internationally speaking, on Netflix. So it would still be Peacock, I believe, at that point, because 2026 is the Peacock deal ending. Yeah. Either way, for the international audiences that are affected by the Netflix deal, which include Canada and I think parts of Europe as well. And anyway, just for everyone who's affected there, the Netflix deal includes a WrestleMania. I wouldn't be surprised if Rock says, you want to bring big numbers in by WrestleMania time? Put me on the first WrestleMania on Netflix on Netflix. That wouldn't surprise me at all if we do that.
This is what I tweeted yesterday after listening to Rock on First Take, where he was like, I want to do something big. I want to do something that basically transcends wrestling. You know, there's a chance, like, you know me, I'm long-term story type of thing. Like, I got the feeling that Mania 40 wasn't his goal, wasn't what he was thinking. Yeah, he appeared at day one and he gave the head of the table line. Unless he comes in at the Rumble and then wins that, I still think he should come out at 30 and everybody just eliminates themselves. Like, board of directors is here. We can't touch this guy. Now it makes even more sense. Can't touch this guy.
He really is the head of the table.
Yeah.
He really is the head of the table. Yeah,
but I think that Mania 41, he's looking bigger picture to that and looking to do a longer build, which would allow Roman to lose at WrestleMania 40 and lose the title. Because as we've always said, this match doesn't need a title, but I do think it's helpful if the title is there.
Yeah, 100%. And him beating Dwayne would be tremendous with the title, and it's passing the torch really for that family, I guess, and storyline. I think here's the other thing: the stars need to align for this to happen, and with Dwayne's schedule, it rarely aligns. And for whatever reason right now, because I guess he's kind of on the outs with Hollywood and you know, the XFL is kind of merged in with the other league. What is it? USFL.
USFL.
Yeah.
I think right now it's more of a PR piece for Dwayne. This is I call it the Arnold run, right? He's going based on the Arnold thing. He was the big bodybuilder wrestler, went into acting, became the biggest actor in the world. He became a great businessman. What's the next step for him?
Governor of California.
California.
So here's the other thing about Rock and Roman. Someone had kind of thrown this my way, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. What if somehow The Rock becomes a special guest enforcer for Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania? Not a referee, but someone who's on.
We're really going.
But see, Joel, you're
into
thinking as a wrestling fan. You're thinking as a wrestling
I know
fan. We're
I am.
all wrestling fans here.
I know. I'm bringing it
That
back
will
to
not
story.
go over.
But here's the thing: it's still an appearance from The Rock, and then we talked about this, Jeremy, you and I, on Monday. The next night, we talked about it a few times, but the next night on Monday Night Raw, after Roman has lost that title, Boo's still cheering down on him. Out comes The Rock, and he says, "We're doing it in a year." You got 1 year. Roman lays the challenge out to The Rock and says, "You know what, big dog? You want a shot? Let's do it. You have until WrestleMania next year to get yourself in shape." Totally just tear him apart for the stuff with Jinder, how he looked, how he's all beat up and blown up, and just be like, "We're doing it. We're going to do it next year, big dog, if you want this."
Roman should, if Rock comes out to confront him at the night after WrestleMania Raw, Roman should punch him in the face and watch that man shatter and then not worry about him again.
Sure. And then we build to something. But I'm looking at the Fightful Select report where we talked about Rock and Cody Rhodes' relationship and what was said or what wasn't said together before The Rock came out and dropped that head of the table line. And there's this interesting note that but it did note it was before his promo, and most didn't know about his head of the table line. So there were a lot of people who had no idea that The Rock was going to drop this line, and I want to know who knew. I have to assume Triple H knew, but other than that, who was in the know here?
I would 100% buy nobody knew that Rock, after being blown up with this people's elbow and everything, when he's talking about, "I'm going to go out on the town," and then he's just trying to gauge reaction on this, because I didn't even think he was going to make a head of the table reference. I thought he was going to do his dumb, like, "Should I get some pie, everybody?" And I'm like, haha, Rocky.
There we go.
That's funny. Like, I think he might have just flipped that right then just to see how it played. And obviously it played.
Do you remember how we all thought that his promos were so freaking innovative and how great they were at the time?
Yeah.
And then he does it now, and you're like,
things change. And by the way, people who are just like, "Oh, he won't get into," the whole point of giving him a year is that he would get into ring shape, lean down, and figure that out. Just because you're 50, 51, getting older, that's never stopped certain people from getting in the ring, for better or worse.
I don't want Dewey leaned out. I don't want him leaned out. I want him bigger than ever.
I don't want him leaned out. I want him in ring shape. I want him at least able to hit a people's elbow without being gassed.
Yeah,
I said it on Monday. He's going to be Mark Kerr. You know how Mark Kerr trained Andrew Zarian? Needles, baby.
How is he going to play Mark Kerr?
Just jacked and without consequence. I'm very interested to see what this looks like with him.
You know, we're all going to end up looking like The Rock. This is the future of humanity. You know, we're a giant melting pot now. That's what we all look like in 1,000 years. It's just, you know, Dwayne's. Everybody's a Dwayne. I don't know how he's going to play Mark Kerr. By the way, great documentary, that Super Machine.
Yeah.
Super Machine, right? Super Machine.
I think it was Smashing Machine.
Smashing Machine. Yeah, great documentary.
Yeah.
Hey, also Okada going to NXT, huh? That's a crazy story.
Oh, I'm so excited. He's going to have the best match with Joe Gacy. We're all going to love it.
I mean, who reported that?
Monthly Pararezu. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Listen, is it possible? Anything is possible. But you have probably the greatest professional wrestler of this generation, an established great wrestler in this generation, signing with the biggest company in the world, and they're going to subjugate him to being in NXT.
And before anyone's like, oh, they did it to Nakamura. Well, yeah, they did it to Nakamura when NXT was a super indie and they brought in people.
Yeah, it was Ring of Honor.
Ring of
It
Honor.
was Ring of Honor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I by and large agree with you. At the same time, I always think about tentpole talent. I don't think that Okada needs to be a tentpole talent for NXT, but as a way to introduce him to a beginner's audience for a month or two, sure, I don't hate it. I think there's something to be said about the opportunity for him to just get the camera angles, but they're doing that with Jade without putting her in front of WWE cameras. So like if they give him 2 months and just be like, this is how we do things differently, they're not going to quote break him down and build him back up because he doesn't need that.
Man, him and Nakamura at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
that would be just my dream match.
Look, if Nakamura does a Rainmaker on Saturday in the Rumble, then we can go ahead and confirm Okada is coming to WWE. Nakamura broke the CM Punk news, so clearly he knows something.
I think the reporting that came from that monthly Pro website, maybe someone said it to them in jest and it was just lost in translation. Maybe someone was just so like deadpan and being sarcastic that they ran with it. I don't think they made it up. I think someone told them this.
I mean, listen, it's entirely possible, but I think the main roster audience would have a better understanding of who Okada is versus NXT. It's a much smaller audience. You're dealing with 650,000 viewers versus 1.7 to 2.5 million viewers, and you want to treat. You also want to have his debut be the biggest thing ever. You want to create top level stars. He debuts in NXT. He's not a top level star to that casual audience.
I'm still here. I'm just reading chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought you were gonna tell me I'm absolutely wrong. So,
I'm hearing you. Okada and NXT. Let's do it. Why not? Okada and NXT and then Okada and TNA.
Yeah, but Dwayne should go to NXT and have his first match back in NXT. He should challenge for the NXT title.
He should. No, not even that. Put him on the Largo loop. Put him on the Coconut loop. Have him work against everyone. Have him do an Obafemi match. Have him put over Obafemi. 25, maybe 22, but definitely not 38-year-old Obafemi. That's the match I want.
Fantastic.
Now, if the report, I don't know what happened with the report. They do good interviews. They have some type of connections with Japan, with New Japan, even All Japan, Noah, because they interview a lot of the talent. So clearly they talk to people who talk to people or talk to people directly, but they've never been known for like breaking anything. This is a pretty big break to like really attach your name to if you're not really certain about it. And I hope for their benefit, because I don't want them to, they're going to get the backlash if it doesn't happen. And honestly, rightfully so, because don't say this if it's not true and you're not on it. I hope this is not we want to be first. We kind of heard this. Sure. We think that's enough, instead of we heard this. Let's double, triple fact check it. Cause that, we saw that with the Saudi stuff of like, we want to, I heard this. Is it true? Don't know, but I want to be first on this.
That's also a point.
I just got a link that Nick Khan was on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Yes, December 2000. People are saying that attributed his victory, his winnings from that. He didn't win the big prize, which was a Caribbean trip. He won $16,550, somewhere around there, over $16,000, which people say he then used to parlay into doing the bar exam, writing the bar, which does not cost $16,000, but just give them rope here, and then create the career that he is.
It was to pay for law school. It was to pay for law school.
Yeah.
Look at that young man already. Young handsome Persian Nick Khan.
He was writing the book already at that point. The law school book. He said how to survive law school. He had already finished. So maybe he was paying off his debts.
Yeah, very possible.
I gotta tell you, he really is the MVP of WWE.
Oh, dude is gonna go down.
when that book is written, that second half of WWE and how this man transformed that company from a wrestling promotion into, a global entertainment company. It's very interesting to see what he's done with what Vince did. Everything is steps, right? Vince took it from his dad and made it into a national based company that was on TV. and Nick is transforming this thing into something unimaginable. Really, if you told promoters from the late 70s and 80s that in the next 40 years this is going to become one of the biggest properties in all of entertainment, they would laugh at you.
I'm waiting for when Nick Khan leaves this earth and we finally figure out that the Ultimate Warrior was a giant piece of shit human being, and we rename the Warrior Award to the Nick Khan Award. And then we also give like a scholarship with it.
Isn't it amazing how we all, not us, but in general, everybody forgot on what a vile human being he was.
Sucks, Andrew. It sucks.
And they created a fucking humanitarian award after him.
Someone was taking the piss, and they just went with it. Ugh. It's just like having Hogan on my screen in 2020.
Yeah, the Kids' Choice Awards, they're gonna have a Jeffrey Epstein Award next couple of years.
Jesus,
that's coming.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah,
I mean, unbelievable. It really is. By the way, I'm not comparing Jeffrey Epstein to the Ultimate Warrior. I just, I know someone is going to tweet me and be like, I can't believe you're comparing the two. Listen, both vile people, Warrior was a vile person.
He was. He sucked.
He never, and it's not like he had like a second coming. He didn't have I was so fucking wrong about all this stuff.
No one has all these people. Like Hogan is still celebrated, and he never even said like, "Oh, I was really wrong. It was a speed bump in my." There's exact words. It was a speed bump in my career. Racism is a Mount Everest, buddy. Like
you know what? And what a hypocrite I am. I'm wearing a Hogan shirt right now. So.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring it up. I was gonna wait for you to bring that back around. Someone in the chat saying it does seem like Warrior realized he was awful towards the end of his life. I don't think he did. I think he was just like, my life is my life, and I lived unapologetically, and that's how he went out, unapologetic.
It's one thing to think a certain way and have a certain philosophy that you live by for yourself. It's another thing to go and spew hatred. That's the other thing, and speak on campuses and do all that stuff. I find that interesting. Like I know a lot of people that have very different ideologies in life than me. They sometimes look at my ideologies with certain things and they think I'm out of my mind, and I do the same with them. But it's not like anybody is going and being like, what he did. Everybody thinks differently. That's just how life is. But when you go and you're so hyper aggressive about stuff, and you hear the stories about how terrible he was to people, that's why he never stayed. His entire career path was really, if you really think about it, what was it, 88 to 90
in terms of his superstardom? Yes.
Yeah.
2 years, that's it. Hogan at least had 20 some odd years on TV.
Well, we can't leave out 1998 when he appeared in that mirror.
That's one of my favorite matches of all time still.
The Man in the Mirror.
That Halloween Havoc match. That's just
one of my favorite
wrestling.
WCW moments. And my laptop is dying, so when it dies, I'm gone. I'm officially dead. One of my favorite. That's how it works. I disappear. One of my favorites is that the Hogan segment in '95 where he was feuding with Kevin Sullivan, and he goes into that weird water. It's cold.
It's not hot. No,
it's not hot.
It's not. It's cold. It's not.
Why
hot.
did he say that? Why did he say that?
He thought it was going to burn him.
Yes.
Hey, he thought the water was going to burn him, and he goes, "It's not hot." Oh, such good shit.
That's
right
so good.
Andrew Zarian. That is.
I love.
And that is what you call an actor.
Yes.
Love the Dungeon and Doom shit. Love it. My favorite match. I'll always say it. Doomsday cage match. The alliance to end Hulkamania against Hogan and Savage. The triple cage. The Z-Man was in there. Zeus.
No, the Z-Man's with us here.
Yes, as well. Zeus
I'm
was in
the
it.
real.
They didn't know the rules and shit. Like they tried to escape, and then Hogan's like, "Oh shit, we got to go back and pin him." So he jumps back in the cage to pin. Oh, just peak nonsense. Love it. Yep,
so good. It kind of reminded me when they
95, baby.
Yeah,
that's my
fantastic.
shit right there.
Fantastic.
I'm a triple cage guy myself. 2000 represent.
Yeah, the Ready to Rumble cage. I love
Yes.
that as well.
They did that 3 times. They felt the
did.
need to bring that back multiple
Well, that
times.
shit was innovative. WWE should use that, cowards.
We've been waiting, man. But the old school Hell in a Cell on top of the original cage on top of a, I don't know, the
little shark
cage that they
cage.
use, the shark cage, or even the cage
Yeah.
that they use for war games. They already have the parts. They just have to stack them on top of each other and make them structurally
Yeah.
sound.
I want this so bad. I want to need it. Oh, this was a Chamber of Horrors
I
match where
remember that.
the electrocution switch
Oh,
broke. That was one of,
Abdullah got electrocuted.
yeah, that was one of the first like pay-per-views I rented from like Blockbuster. I would just go.
He did this.
We did get a super chat a little while back. It's from Chi-Town Spurs. The WWE is a public company. The stockholders are more important than whatever story they've been trying to tell. And
Yep, they
yeah.
don't give a shit. They listen. This is, and I'm saying this in the most truthful of ways. WWE's main goal is to serve the shareholder. That is the main goal of any business that serves the public in any way. That is a publicly traded company. Their main goal is not you. McDonald's does not give a shit about you. They give a shit about the investor and the stockholder. You are collateral damage as far as how they think. They have to appease you to some extent because the shareholders expect that. But everything's bottom line. You know, I saw somebody tweet like, well, maybe WWE won't release talent anymore. I'm like, no, what are you kidding? If WWE could be a 5-man crew every night, they would run that. That's what they would do.
They would. Anything to make a few bucks, you do it. And that's why, like, talent also, from a cycle perspective, like, talent comes in and out. That's just the way it is. I said this to myself, and I don't know if I hope it doesn't get lost in the shuffle when I explain it, but like, Dolph Ziggler gets released because Austin Theory is around. And that's not a shot at either man. It's just that it's how you are perceived on the totem pole. It's how you are presented on television and how you are cast for a television program. People saying, you know, GYV, why didn't Grizzled Young Vetch have a bigger spot on WWE TV? Yes, I understand. GYV, fantastic tag team. They have a great gimmick and it works. You know what else WWE has that fills that gimmick? Brawling Brutes, or at least they did at the time. And that's not to say that one team is better than the other in the ring or that one team was better presented. It was just they picked those 3 guys and presented them with Sheamus as the guy at the helm, as that character, as those brawling international talent who didn't give a shit. And that's what GYV was. And then they tried something else with GYV. They didn't like it. They wanted to become GYV. So they went and took a bet on themselves, and now they're doing well. And that's great. That's wrestling. You are working, if you're on television, you are working for the character that you fit in with on television.
Everyone has said it. It is a cog in the machine. The machine is giant. The machine is never ending, and the wrestlers are just cogs. And it's sad, but it's the reality that even the wrestlers know. They know that it's like, all right, you swap me out, somebody else comes in. There we go. Where the next person is basically up. Like, I get it. There are certain people who are more important to that machine, but WWE certainly feels like, no, we got this person here. Why do we need this person? They can.
Hey, Aunt Viv, why do you look different all of a sudden? That sometimes recasting happens. So that's wrestling.
Listen, you know, it's an interesting concept. Like, if the NFL ever were to go public, or the NBA, they are no longer serving the audience. The game will change indefinitely because you're serving the shareholders. That it's a very different world once you start becoming, when you're a publicly traded company. AEW is serving the audience. That's at the end of the day, that's what it is. WWE is serving the shareholders. It's I'm not saying one is better than the other. It depends, you know, how you look at it, but it's a very interesting time for that company. It is very strange.
That's why people should be happy there's competition. And that's why if we come on here and we say anything about, you know, anything about AEW or WWE and or TNA or whatever that you don't like, guess what? We like these companies. We want them to operate at a higher plane than they do. We want them to see success. We want the talent. We want them supported. So,
Joel, you would know this, or Jeremy. How many active wrestlers are there in North America?
Too many.
Oh gosh,
What was the number? It was, well, actually, let me rephrase that. How many active wrestlers are on TV? You know, between the two big companies or three big companies?
Oh, it's got to be like,
Well, there's 200 in AEW alone, so
yeah.
So let's say 400, right?
It's got to be upwards of that.
Yeah.
I
500?
think like
500?
500.
So
Yeah.
500 across the North American television. Yeah, let's go with
let's
that.
say,
Yeah.
let's go with that number, right? Why would anybody that is a fan of the sport want one company to disappear and have 50% of the workforce in that industry be out of work?
Because these are people who lived at a time when WCW didn't exist and TNA wasn't as big as it became for a short amount of time.
That's actually a great answer. That
That's-
actually is a fantastic answer.
When you're the only game in town, the only game in town is what you know. And when something else comes in and threatens your favorite childhood memory or your favorite, childhood fandom, you get a little you protect it a little bit more. You become more protective about it.
Yeah.
I see people saying they are fans of the sport. I think they're still fans. I just think that some people don't think logically about why it's important to have different places where people can work and people can wrestle. You think about it, like becoming a wrestler is like the worst job you can have in entertainment. It's pretty friggin' bad. You can lose the job like that. You're working your ass off for little pay. You're hoping for a contract that doesn't always pay off. And like it's not a great job, but you work hard because it's creative and because you're passionate about it, because you want to make your life around this passion. It's the same thing with what we do. What I love in the ways to become a much bigger show that sees, financial gain and opportunity for growth, and we can expand and all that. We're in our infancy, but like we're seeing that growth. Do I want to see us grow to that point? Absolutely. I've said this before. Us and Busted Open are really the only like morning programming that exists in the wrestling sphere.
Excuse me?
Here once a week. We don't. No. We're closer. I love your show, but no.
Wrestling Observer Live is also once a week in the mornings, but nobody knows that.
News to me.
It was news to you.
It's us and Busted Open. How's that? It's us and Busted Open. And I want you to tell your friends that we exist if your friends are only listening to Busted Open, because
I love this show. I love that there's an avenue for this. I turn it on in the morning and listen, I'm on it every week now, a couple times, but that's because I love hearing you guys talk, and I love, having that conversation with you guys. It's a fun thing for me to do, and I think that's the interesting. You need diversity. You need something different for everybody that caters to. I could listen to Busted Open right now, but I don't.
You can always catch the clips.
I catch the clips. I tune in every now and then. Denise hosts that show too. You need a variety of different options, and that's fine. Having a variety is great. We're not back like with radio. We're not in the radio wars where you're competing against the same thing. There's on-demand programming now. You can watch anytime you want. Talking about Canada, Joel. First of all, I watched the Blackberry movie on the plane.
Oh,
Have you
I've
seen it?
That still. No, I still have to see it.
Dude,
I used to love Blackberry, man.
Dude, it is Glenn Howell, right? From Always Sunny.
Sure.
He is even more you don't watch Always Sunny.
I don't remember names right now.
Okay. Dennis in Always Sunny.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
He is even more deranged in this movie. He is out of his mind. It is such a great, very unique film. Low budget movie, but fantastic. And he tries to buy, I think, the Pittsburgh. He tries to buy the Pittsburgh Penguins and move them to, I think, like Hamilton.
Yeah. That was always the talk, was moving a secondary team into Toronto, but outside of Toronto.
Yeah, outside of Toronto. He wanted to do that. I thought it was so fascinating. The movie was great. And I learned a lot about Waterloo. Yeah, that's where the vampires hang out.
Yeah, that's about as good as it gets with Waterloo, by the way.
And do you know that quote? He quoted that crazy man doing the interview.
Which one?
Okay, dude, this is the best thing. And I'm gonna leave after because my battery's dying. There's a clip of it's like a street interview, okay? And this random Greek man walks up and he starts just rambling about how he's a loser and they won't even look at him. And then he goes, I'm from Waterloo where the vampires hang out. And he goes, no, I can't do it justice. Steve Spiros, easygoing. That's how he introduces himself. It's the most deranged thing I've ever seen. So many great clips. And Jason Howell, I think that's his name. Jason Howell? Jason Agnew? No, that's Live Audio Wrestling. Dennis from Always Sunny quotes him and starts to scream. It's so good. I popped so big on the plane. Also, talking about Canada, this was my point.
Oh, Dennis is Glenn Howerton, by the way.
Glenn Howerton, not Jason Howell. Who the hell is Jason Howell?
I don't know who Jason. Are you thinking of like Jason Powell? You're like trying to Jason Agnew, Jason Powell, Josh Nason, just mixing up.
Josh Nason.
Yeah. Once you said Dennis from Always Sunny, I was like, oh no, that's Glenn Howerton. I know that one.
Glenn Howerton,
Glenn podcaster.
Who is it? Jason Howell. Yeah, Jason Howell. That's where it is. He was on Twit. Yeah, that's how I know Jason Howell. Yeah. Sorry, Jason.
Canada.
Live Audio Wrestling. I discovered it because it was a first on-demand pro wrestling radio show. It was a podcast before podcasts were anything in 1998 with Jeff Merrick, Dan the Mouth Lebransky, and Jason Agnew.
I remember these guys. I do.
On Mojo Radio, AM 660, I think, or AM 640.
640.
And the show 640, and the show went on after right after the show. We spoke about this. It was called Cloak and Dagger.
Yes.
It was a conspiracy show that went off the air after 9/11.
I remember this. Oh God. Yeah.
You'll never meet another person from New York that knows so much about Canadian radio.
There you go. Getting into law after the Montreal screw job.
I meant Jason Levine. That's what I meant.
That's you met with Jason Levine. Just making great.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
All right, Jasons. Boys. Too many Jasons.
Too many.
All right, I got to get back to work.
All right. Good luck. Thank you, Andrew.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
The heart will show up.
Kisses.
There we go. Look at
that. Burns out his laptop battery just for us. Spends the first hour with us. What a good boy.
Bless Andrew Zarian. Bless.
Always fun to have him around, especially nice in LA at this hour. My God.
Nice eyebrows, Andrew Zarian.
Very nice eyebrows.
I love that Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon told him this. Now every time I see him, every time he pops up on the stream now, first thing I'm going to say to him is nice eyebrows.
You know what I want? I want to meet Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan, present a photo of Andrew Zarian and be like, what's your first take on this guy? And Nick Khan would be like, oh, I remember him. I told him he had nice eyebrows, because Nick Khan has some sort of photographic memory. I don't understand it. The McAfee show, when he told the story about helping Pat's wife get into a show because she didn't have her tickets. And then later on, Pat McAfee's wife being like, oh, it's so nice to meet, like years later, being like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. And Nick Khan be like, oh no, we met before. I helped you. Da, 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 da. And she was like, oh, oops.
Some people got memories of just the most random things. And Nick Khan just, I'm sure, has one of the greatest memories, just everything he's accomplished. But me, I can't remember anything. But then if you ask me about what some wrestler said in a nondescript interview 2 years ago, I can recall the wrestler and what show they were on. Like, oh yeah, he said that this already happened, type of thing. My memory when it comes to stuff that I've listened to, that's where it excels. Otherwise, I don't know shit.
Nah, just here to compartmentalize everything. How about compartmentalizing? Because I got words today. A thumbs up here on the channel, and subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. Don't need a super chat if you want to get your question statement read on the air. We bring up stuff from time to time, but if you want to support us financially and make sure that we pay our people, let's do that. I threw up a new.
You want to help us topple Busted Open? Give us all your money.
We're gonna do it. We don't have the Bully Rays and the Tommy Dreamers and the Mark Henrys and the Denise Salcedos and the. Oh my God, they have a star-studded line.
They have
Thunder Rosa. Jesus Christ, they get Tony Khan every week. My God.
Tony Khan hasn't been on the show in forever.
Oh, probably because somebody said something.
It's been a long time since Tony has been on that show. That used to be a weekly staple. I'd listen to it every week, but Tony hasn't been on that show in forever. They got producers and stuff. They got people who are actually wrangle these guests and whatnot. Me, I'm DMing CNBC news anchors hey, want to come on this wrestling morning show to talk about the WWE Netflix deal? I don't want people to do this for me.
What's it like getting left on red all the time?
Yeah. Look, man, you get it. I will always say I will shoot these shots. I do not care. The worst thing they're gonna say is no, or they're not gonna message me back, and that's fine. That's okay. Doesn't bother me at all. I would like to consistent guests on the show. I think everybody knows that. Sometimes we ask, sometimes scheduling doesn't work out. I legitimately did reach out to somebody at CNBC and it was like, hey, do you want to come on the show today to talk about this? Didn't hear an answer. Maybe they'll get back to me today and be like, oh, hey, sorry, I missed this. Can I come on later on? Who knows? You never know, but you won't know unless you actually ask these questions.
I keep telling people when they ask me about In the Weeds and they ask me about how the show operates, and I tell them similarly to what Jeremy's saying. I say one of the things that like one of my goals is just to be us to have a consistent 5K viewership on our episodes, and that's a while away. Like we're just under 1,000 per episode. Depends on the news. Today's episode will do well. That's great, and I really appreciate y'all hanging out. But like when we get to that point where we're busting out 5,000 per episode, then that's my next metric. That's what I want. I don't want to just start at 1K per. And then the point to that is that we can start getting our guests understanding like we are a legitimate show in a very niche world that continues to grow. And then Why Soulable asking if we've had Brandon Thurston on. Yes, he has been on the show. Unfortunately, it was also a week that I missed. I wasn't there for that episode.
Yeah, SP3 was with me for that one.
So I had missed that. I was traveling that day. So yeah, he's been on. There have been a lot of really great guests that have come around so far, and we'll continue getting great guests. We're given talking about exclusives, to a lesser degree. No offense, we're not CNBC, but like, the Jade Chung ring announcer TNA thing, like that was something that was given to us by TNA. That was something that was an opportunity for us to have something fun and have a good conversation with the TNA talent that was undertaking a new full-time role. When we get stuff like that, that's great. We'll keep getting stuff like that. So that's where I'm at with our growth right now. It feels good.
I don't have anything to add.
Wonderful. Let's touch on Raw. We talked about the Rock and Roman stuff. Do you want to start with Gunther and Seth, or do you want to go to Punk and Cody and really rip that up? Not rip it up, but really talk about it. I know you're going to be talking about it with Steven Jensen.
Oh, Jensen's already dedicated the entire 90 minutes. I'm not saying a word on tomorrow's show, everybody. So if you want my opinion on Cody and Punk, this is the show, because I'm going to set up Jensen tomorrow and he's going to be like, all right, here we go. I'll give everybody a scoop, a spoiler a little bit.
Let's go.
Steven Jensen, I think, appreciated and didn't totally hate CM Punk's portion.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to troll him. I'm going to bait him 100%. Like I'm completely, maybe that was a bad spoiler, because now people are going to be like, oh, wait, he might actually like this. I think people tune in for Jensen raging about it. So I'm 100% going to bait Jensen about it. So I'll bring the rage out of him. Don't worry.
There you go. Tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, over on youtube.com/Fightful. Check out.
Get up early.
You got to get up early for that show. You all made the decision to do that. I don't know. Well, I guess because of Jensen's schedule, but
yeah, it's
go
Jensen's
ahead,
schedule.
do that. And so basically tomorrow, if you want the Weekender podcast on a free tier, you're going to get it, because if you, my favorite part of the Weekender is just the Steven Jensen train of thought, just the stream of consciousness as he's reading results and giving his thoughts. That is just the best voice in my head on a Sunday or Monday morning. Oh, let's go. All
right. So Punk and Cody, right?
People loved it.
Oh, are you a hater,
Joel? No, actually, I actually really enjoyed the promo. I really liked that they didn't go there. We talked about it. Are they going to do an AEW reference? No, they didn't even touch it. They really made it feel like CM Punk has been just cast off into the void for the last 10 years and nothing happened to him. They bring up the pipe bomb promo as if that was the last big thing he did. I like this. I like that they're drawing parallels to each other and making sense of it. I like that they're giving you, again, we talk about the vibe check on the SI article. That's what this was. This was a vibe check for how badly do you want to see CM Punk and Cody Rhodes down the line. And of course, everyone did. And you can get more heated, but as a first run, this went really well. They didn't take unnecessary shots. It felt like two guys who had a story behind each other and introduced you to that story without introducing you to like the wrestling only side of it. What do you think of this? Because I liked it.
I thought it sucked.
I was waiting for that so hard. Don't troll me like you are, Jensen. Tell me your honest thoughts.
People are gonna get mad at my honest thoughts, Joel.
As one
I don't want
does.
people. I don't want people mad at me. I think Dusty Rhodes entrusting his kid with CM Punk says all you need to know about his parenting.
Well, we already knew that. Any Dustin Rhodes article or interview will tell you that.
I think that Punk referencing Dusty, all the Dusty reference just don't do anything for me. I'm sorry. Like they just don't. Like, oh, I had a tie with Dusty. Like, cool. It seems like everyone did, and everyone uses this against Cody. Even Cody has said it. Just like, I don't want people constantly referencing my dad. Like, I didn't like that portion of it. I liked Cody's portion. I thought Cody, I won't say this tomorrow. I'll give a completely different take tomorrow, everybody. I thought Cody murdered this man on the mic. Straight gassed him. Just 10-7. Punk got the bigger reaction. But like 10-7, 10-6, maybe a first round knockout. I thought Cody's point when he brought up the pipe bomb and was like, you said all this, I did all this. A lot of people have made that point. Like Punk said all this, and yet Cody is the one who actually left and tried to create and build something on his own and succeeded, and then came back a bigger star because I loved that Cody brought that up. I thought Punk's portion,
They played safe. But that was okay. Again, for a first encounter in 10 years, this was great. They haven't seen each other in 10 years. They haven't shared a ring together. They haven't been near each other. They've both been in cryogenics for the last 10 years. So
well, I didn't mind that like they didn't do the AEW inside references. I expected it, but I was totally fine. The fact that they did it without making these little references, I think shows this is going to sound bad, but like shows the level of maturity in WWE promos. Because in AEW, they will do the cheap shots and get the cheap pops off of it. And it works. It works in that setting because it's good to reference history and everything. Like I think for the companies themselves, it works. For WWE, it works to not do that stuff. And for AEW, it works to do that stuff. But I think when it comes to WWE, it's a little bit tougher to not do that. That's the easy thing to do. You could easily point to the AEW stuff. And neither of them really did that. You know, Punk said I can separate business from personal, and people took that as an AEW reference. Like you can spin anything to an AEW reference if you want to do it. If you want to, there's enough history between these two of what they did in AEW. Like, is that an AEW reference? Oh, but I thought that Cody was very good. I thought Punk was there.
CM Punk, while you were giving your thoughts on mixed martial arts, I was climbing up the rankings in every single sport of wrestling you could think of, and the rankings mattered to me, damn it. So I kept on building up those rankings, and I did everything I could. And what were you doing? You were talking about everyone else's rankings but your own. No, I didn't expect them to. Okay, we talked about them bringing up AEW. I didn't expect them to bring up AEW, and this just further kind of solidifies the feeling that Punk is not like he doesn't want to do that. And of course, you talk about the NDAs involved, and if that plays into it, sure, that's another thing. But they don't necessarily need to bring up AEW because we talked about this on Monday. They didn't interact in the short amount of time in which they overlapped in AEW. So what's the point? What does it accomplish? You're gonna talk about things that you weren't necessarily there for.
Well, yes, but Cody has said in interviews, the after Brawl Out, he said that that wasn't the spirit of what we had created with All In. He lost the spirit was lost on that. Cody's still friends with the Bucks. He still talks with the Bucks. Could have easily dropped some type of reference there. There were a lot of easy ways to go with this. Like, again, Cody could have brought up, like, we were both over there. You crushed the Spirit over there. Like,
And again, first round between these two. We can keep that in mind as we talk about it.
Well,
If
yeah, I
you
mean, if
unload
this is
clip
the
art-
the WrestleMania program as reported by Sports Illustrated, then they're going to have a lot more rounds. So get ready for a lot more Dusty references, everybody.
I hope that they do not go back to more Dusty references. I understand why you're not into it, and I kind of fall on that too. I don't need Dusty to be implicated in every single Cody Rhodes promo ever for the rest of my life. As a setup promo, I let it slide as long as it's not. It's just like this is a little different, but on NXT, everyone wants to talk about how Lola Vice shakes her ass on Instagram. That's literally every single promo from a woman to Lola Vice talking about how they worked hard while she shook her ass on Instagram. And I have no doubt in my mind that Valerie Loretta is saying, no, you can say it because then more brands will come to my Instagram and give me money. Whereas with Cody, it's like, no, you can bring up my dad because it's his legacy. Let's do this. As long as you don't use it for every single promo or every single program, I will let it slide. And this was their first. Again, this was their first. I think for a first planned interaction, this was good. This felt like their version of a presidential debate, which made me laugh so hard.
Those tattoos, man. I didn't realize CM Punk had this tattoo behind his ear.
Oh,
No
he's always
idea.
he's always had that.
No. Look, I don't pay attention to this stuff. It's not as prolific as Cody's. Cody, of course, you can't miss that damn thing. But I don't pay attention to the Punk has this behind the ear tattoo. But geez, these people, bless them with their tattoos and what they're going for here. Just too much. But that, look, the face off was good. It was good. It was effective. It sold. I thought it did a good job of selling the Rumble, which was the goal, right? That was the goal ultimately of this promo. Not to sell so much Cody versus CM Punk, which could happen down the line, but the goal was to sell the Rumble. And I thought they did a good job of selling the Rumble and why they both want to win it and why they both are willing to go, like how they're willing to go through each other to get it. Like that was the purpose of this promo. And I thought it did accomplish that. I got more excited for the Rumble because of this and like, ooh, Cody winning, Punk winning. I got way more excited for Gunther winning after him confronting Seth than either of these two. But I liked it. It was good. Cody won. Tomorrow, I will tell you CM Punk won.
If you think about it.
Really, no one will say it, but if you really think about it, Cody and CM Punk were right.
Yes, that's right. We were right. Never forget that Cody solved racism, as they say in the chat. That's right. Never forget.
Bless
anyone.
that, Cody.
Good. It was a good opening salvo for these two. And yeah, let's see where it goes. Let's see if the SI reporting has any merit to it in terms of, Punk and Cody. It's certainly, again, there were so many moments last night that it was either a vibe check or it was a replanning for WrestleMania because Seth Rollins comes out. We all expected Seth to have Damien Priest involved somehow, and no, instead Gunther comes out with Imperium. When I saw the rundown for Monday Night Raw and I saw that the Imperium New Day match was next, I was like, I wonder, because you knew the match was coming. They try to kind of move.
That ruled them just jumping in and attacking them.
And it was good. And again, I was like, they normally try to flow everything in the first, half hour, 45 to get you invested in the rest of the show. And that's what happened. Seth comes out. He confirms the reporting from Fightful Select originally about his MCL tear, his MCL injury and his meniscus tear. And then he says, I thought I would be out for WrestleMania. And that was the moment where I was like, okay, he's fine. He's fine, but like he's gonna compete. They're gonna do a time off thing, which is great. Instead, out comes Gunther, and they go back and forth. Was this something you expected? Was this something that you enjoyed? Because I can tell you the promo, I very much enjoyed that as well.
I didn't expect Gunther to come out. I said it while Zarian was on. I really love this. I love that Gunther one praised Seth of like, you've been the workhorse, but you've run yourself down, buddy. Unlike me, who I've been doing the same thing, but I'm still in tip-top shape. So you know what? When I win the Rumble, I got a lot of respect for you. I got a lot of respect for that title. And I'm going to take it from you. Because if you are dumb enough to show up and face me while injured, you're going to get this ass beating that you deserve. He didn't exactly say that, but largely that's what he said. And again, I as much as I've been saying, Roman has got to be the guy you challenge if you win the Rumble. Once again, if Gunther wins, I'm like, it's there for Seth now. There's an actual story with Seth. They've done a really good job creating that doubt of like the guy who wins is going to go after Roman. And I like that. And I do like Zarian's point. If you're Paul Heyman, this should be a Paul Heyman point of if you're Paul Heyman and Gunther wins the Rumble or Punk wins the Rumble and they challenge Seth. If you're Paul Heyman, you should be like, there's no challengers left for Roman. The Rumble winners, they don't even want to come to the island of relevancy because they know how it ends. Continue to put your guy over in that. I think you can tell that story too.
You know how we could have also circumvented this entire issue with the knee injury and being the reason to go after Seth, right?
What's that?
If Seth had sold the back injury that's been reported for months and months and months.
Well, Gunther mentioned the back as well.
Gunther they're talking about the breaking down of Seth Rollins' body. It's just funny to me how, now that he's got the knee injury, now that there is a physical apparatus on him, it sells it more. He's not going to wear a back brace. He's not going to do the Dalton Castle, wearing the man girdle thing.
And maybe they were kind of going that route. We don't know. We don't know what the plans were before Seth got the knee injury and how that may or may not have changed certain things. Look, they set up a lot of stuff going into the Rumble. I think the favorites are Cody, Punk, and Gunther. And then, do we get a Brock appearance? Do we get a Rock appearance? And then, so here's my question for you, Joel. If this report from SI is true, Cody and Punk, Gunther and Seth, that basically confirms Rock and Roman, right? Otherwise, what's Roman doing?
Damien Priest. No, I don't know. You're right. That was the other thing too about the article. Someone had mentioned in the chat, just being like, what happens to Damien Priest? They brought that up in the article too. They were like, what happens to Priest? He's still got tag titles. He's also still working on he's still working on something with R-Truth. And this is, again, I don't necessarily love that this is the fact, but when you hold the Money in the Bank, they kind of keep you low profile while losing on your show. And he's very low profile in terms of his relation to the World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm talking this week. In the past, he's come out and they've tried to do the cash-ins and they failed and so on and so forth. But like this particular week and the week before, they're starting to do a more R-Truth and Priest story. So do we do a tag title feud? Do we jump out Damien Priest and Damien Priest holds the Money in the Bank while he's still in Judgment Day, or does he do it as a babyface suddenly? We've never seen a turn while holding the briefcase, have we?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Maybe chat will tell us someone else did, but I can't think of a time where someone won as a babyface and turned heel, or actually the other way around is more what I'm getting at. One as a heel and turned babyface while holding the briefcase. We haven't seen that yet. I would like to see that, but you're right. What do we do? Does it officially become Rock and Roman if the Rumble?
It has to.
Ends up being a Seth match.
It has to, because there's no other match for Roman that's bigger than Cody. There's no other match.
And this is the problem with having Elimination Chamber a few weeks later, is that we won't know immediately. You will know who wins the Rumble, and if they're smart, they'll do a little like, who are you going to face, and they'll be like, I'll find out on Raw. And then when they do that, they immediately announce who's going for the Elimination Chamber match, because they got to set that up almost immediately.
Well, it doesn't have to be a number one contender thing for Elimination Chamber.
It doesn't have to be, but it should be at that point.
People people get so married to this idea that like they got to put on a big match for Elimination Chamber and everything. Like, why won't they do? I saw somebody in the chat earlier say, why not Cody and Punk at Elimination Chamber? Because that's a WrestleMania match.
It is. And so my soul was talking about Dolph as a heel when he cashed in on Humberto. And he was still a heel when he cashed in, and he was still a heel when he
Yeah, he just got a babyface reaction.
got a huge pop because people were waiting for that. Also, Alberto Del Rio sucks. So yeah, that could you do it in Australia? Yes, but I agree with you.
You're not.
I said, let me finish, but it is a WrestleMania match. I am agreeing with you. I'm saying you could do it, but you would be burning a potential Mania match.
It's the same reason you're not doing Rock and Roman at Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber match itself sells that show. That's the point of it. And then Rhea being on there is a big sell for that show. Logan's supposed to be on that show.
You do an Elimination Chamber US Championship match?
You could possibly do that.
They did it last year and it went well. Again, the Elimination Chamber last year was not a big title match in the chamber. It was the US title, and then it was the number one contendership for the Raw Women's Championship or the SmackDown. Asuka won it, so I forget what brand she was on. I was there.
Bianca was on SmackDown, I think.
Anyway, it was a number one contendership for
Raw, because I think Rhea and Charlotte were on SmackDown, so
right.
I think Bianca was on Raw.
And going back, by the way, if they run back another women's number one contendership match and a US Championship Elimination Chamber match, you would do that. I'm going right back to my Bailey thing. I think Damage Control maybe jumps out Bailey going into Elimination Chamber, and they do. Bailey has to win the Elimination Chamber to get her spots, and she takes on all of Damage Control.
Chef Valley Driver saying wasn't Roman and Sammy. Yeah, that was Montreal.
Yeah,
like that was the venue kind of put that there. There's no Bronson Reed. Sorry, I know he's going after a title, but like the venue put Sami Zayn in that spot along with the story. There's no story venue concoction that works to justify CM Punk and Cody Rhodes or Rock and Roman in Australia.
Yeah, and people are bringing up again the time and the fact that the show starts at 5 a.m. Eastern. And again, it's hard when I'm like, oh, but you have a sold show in Saudi every year and it starts at noon, so I get it. Like it's noon wrestling versus
noon's a lot different than 5 a.m.
It is different. Therefore, the presentation is allowed to be tinkered a little bit. Where a big Saudi match is, it's okay because it's midday. Or when they go to the UK and the show starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. No, I get it. The Australia show, it's going to be. There are going to be people who are annoyed by the fact that it starts at 5 a.m. or 2 a.m. if you're over in the West Coast. But like some people are just going to have to kind of get over it. There will be a big match or two on that show that people say, well, why aren't you doing this at WrestleMania? Or why aren't you doing this at this show? And reality is like, you got to do stuff on the card that makes sense. It makes it big. You've already promoted CM Punk. That's why I'm a little like, maybe Punk is in a chamber match, or Punk would be in a main event match against who? I don't know. And that would be presumably a title match. But if Seth's not going to be going there, or Seth's not going to defend at that show, which I wouldn't do it, but also it's not up to me, then I would probably put him. What would you do? You put Punk in the Elimination Chamber?
Why does Punk have to wrestle?
What, they're just going to come out and give him a promo?
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't. And again, this goes back to like, some people are going to be upset by what they put on the card. And yeah, listen, that would be something that, I say upset me, but I wouldn't be a big fan of them doing that. I don't think it's a use of Punk's time. At that point, I'd film something and send it in.
Like that's fair, but I could see maybe he does not wrestle, or maybe he just has a random singles match. I know, like, not random in the sense like, hey, here's Dominic Mysterio. You know what? It's going to be Dominic Mysterio. He just has a match that makes sense to wherever they're going with whatever story he's involved in, but it's not a chamber match. It's not anything in there. Let's say the story is CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. we'll go based off of this. Okay. Let's say that's it. Why wouldn't you just do CM Punk and Dominic Mysterio? That's what they did with Cody at whatever that damn pay-per-view was. It's like, here's something for Cody to do while he's still feuding with Brock. Here's a Dominic Mysterio match. Why couldn't you just do something like that with CM Punk?
Good point. Could. People are asking who's going to be in the chamber. If it's a U.S. championship, Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, Carmelo Hayes. I wouldn't put Sami Zayn or Bronson Reed in it, but I would put Bronson Reed in it, even though he's a Raw star, just to have that there, but you don't necessarily need that. But yeah, Logan Paul, KO, Carmelo Hayes, I guess Austin
Theory, Waller's got to be in it.
Yeah, so it's Theory and Waller.
Waller's 100% got to be in it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Grayson Waller. So there you go. There's 5. Do we have a 6th? Who would be our 6th? Who else was in that title tournament?
Bobby Lashley, Escobar. They were in the tournament.
Oh, it would be Escobar for sure.
Just put everybody who's in the tournament. Just put them in the chamber.
You take KO out of it because KO will have just had the Rumble, opportunity, and Paul can just be an asshole and be like, "No, I beat you," whether that's legitimately or not.
Well, if he beats him.
Oh, LA Knight's the other one because you got to get to that Mania match. But then maybe I don't know. Knight.
LA Knight, like all these people got to take L's in this match, and
yes.
if you're setting up, what?
Well, then you get LA Knight and Paul as the final 2, and Paul cheats to win, and then Logan Paul's like, so. Nick Aldis, you're the perpetrator of niceness here. Why don't you give me a title match? Yeah. And then and then Rhea gets the main event is what I would do.
Not if it's against Nia. I know like that's a big closing thing for Rhea, but
she's over, man.
And like honestly, like I wouldn't be mad about it because Rhea deserves it and like it makes sense for that audience and everything. So I would understand that for sure. I would understand it.
And Gunther's not gonna be there most likely because of green card stuff. He's still waiting to get his green card sorted. So unless it suddenly gets sorted in the next 6 weeks, he ain't leaving the country.
Yeah.
So there's no Intercontinental Championship match on that card. That's why you put a U.S. Championship Elimination Chamber match on the card and a women's number 1 contender. Or I think someone had mentioned, the idea of doing a women's tag team championship Elimination Chamber match. Well, first time ever alarms. WWE will run for that. You could do that. But I still want to see Bayley versus all of Damage Control in the Elimination Chamber. Really build her up as that baby face because she's got to dig out from where she started.
There's options going into Elimination Chamber. I'm not sold that Cody and Punk is the Mania program, by the way.
Me neither.
I'm not sold that Gunther and Seth is the Mania program. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, I think Rock and Roman is next year. And I really like Zarian's point of like, hey, you want to do something big, your first Netflix WrestleMania, not in the US, it's still on Peacock, but everywhere else, this is the first WrestleMania on Netflix that everyone has access if you have Netflix. You do Rock there, that's going to draw the attention, that's going to draw the eyebrows. And I think that Cody and Roman, I'm not so certain Cody wins, which is going to make people mad.
So let's hold on. So let's go back then. Let's say this is going again. I keep going back to this, and we fought back and forth on this. Cody Rhodes wins the Elimination Chamber, and you put Cody and Punk in the Elimination Chamber with Bronson Reed, and fill out the not Damien Priest, but like you fill it out with the other 4 people that you need. And the number 1 contendership comes through that. Cody Rhodes wins his way in after getting screwed out of not getting his spot.
Okay.
There you go. Cody Rhodes wins the Elimination Chamber.
All right. What does this have to do with Cody and Roman?
That's how we get to Cody and Roman, is Cody wins the Elimination Chamber and calls a shot against Roman.
Okay. And then Roman beats him.
Does he though?
I just said he did.
I don't know about that.
I think it'd be hilarious.
Well, that's not what we're doing here. It's not an exercise in comedy, Jeremy Lambert.
Cody loses again, and then I don't know what happens because And Roman's just going to keep holding the title. See, I think Rock and Roman, somebody brought it up earlier of like, oh, isn't this what we get mad about AEW for? Like not capitalizing on the big matches when they have them. 2 points to that. One, AEW's got these people under contract compared to The Rock's got the most insane schedule in the world. So just because WWE couldn't do Rock and Roman last year for reasons, I'm not giving AEW a pass because they wouldn't pull the trigger on Swerve and CM Punk when they were both under contract, or CM Punk and Danielson when they were both under contract. 2, yes, I completely, there you go. I completely agree with you in that if you have Rock and Roman, you should probably do it now because you don't know what could happen in a year. Like you just don't. And so it's better to just go ahead and while you know you got it locked in, while you know both people are free, get to the match and do it because people are going to be excited for it regardless. You don't need, Rock wants to do like big spectacular storytelling where he's only going to show up twice and Roman only shows up 3 times. Like you don't need this big spectacular story that goes on for a year when, especially if Roman is the champion, all we're going to be like is like, well, he ain't losing this damn title before he faces Rock at WrestleMania.
That's why you don't do it with the title. That's why you set the match up at the Raw after Mania after Roman has lost.
I agree. I'm just trolling when I say Roman should beat Cody because it's funny to me.
Of course. And then you get people in, fake engagement. Thank you, Bully Ray Lambert over here.
Bully Ray actually believes the stuff he says, I think.
I don't know about that. Sometimes I think Bully is just playing the game too. Oh,
Bless
man.
him.
Bless him. That's right. He is the chaotic opposite of Tommy Dreamer when it comes to that.
I would do, if you're not doing Rock and Roman this year, and I do think you should if you have it. If you're not, I would do Cody and Roman, and I would have Cody win, and then I would do Rock and Roman for the year build, and then Cody's the champion, and he finishes his story, and he's not lying to a bunch of little children and WWE 2K. He can't be in 2K25 if he doesn't finish his story.
That's right. He said, pack it up. I'm done. I'm not going to do. He's going to go back. He's going to go to Wembley. He's going to be at All In. 80,000 people are going to chant, whoa. And then he's going to lose to Samoa Joe or something.
What if he just like quits? What
just
if he like
leaves?
He loses at 40. He gets hit with another rubber chicken cheesesteak. And then he comes out the next night on Raw and he's like, I'm a failure. Just sad Cody Rhodes. The music hits and everybody's waiting for the whoa.
It's the acoustic version of Kingdom.
Yeah.
The EMA version.
They wait for the whoa and Cody just doesn't even have the energy to do it. He just head down the entire way. And he's like, guys, I promised you I was going to finish my story. I told you that I was going to bring the championship home. I told you that I was going to be the first Rhodes to win the title. I said it over and over again. I was going to finish the story. Triple H told me the story never finishes. And you know what? He is right. The story of me winning the WWE title, I don't know if it's going to finish. So now I'm going to finish a different story. My story with WWE is over. I'm stepping away. I am no longer going to be part of WWE because I have failed all of you. I'm like George R.R. Martin. I promised you that Game of Thrones book, and I never finished the story. And so I'm now, he comes out with the black hair. Yeah. He did that shit as a Superman reference to pop himself. And no one cared. No one got it. He thought it was so awesome.
Everyone's like, "Oh, AEW fans are such nerds. They'll get it." And everyone's like, "Huh?"
I love this man. Yeah, he comes out with the black hair again. And he's like, I can't finish my story. So it's time for me to find a different line of work. Clearly, I'm a terrible author. And then he just walks away.
No, he doesn't. He's like, I'm starting a new venture. From today forward, it's no longer about finishing the story. It is about completing my narrative.
He just walks away. He replaces Kevin Patrick on the SmackDown commentary team, and he just does SmackDown commentary every week with old Corey Graves, and Corey Graves is just fucking needling him the whole time. And then we set up Corey Graves and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. There we go.
Poor sad Mick Foley vibes right there. Oh no.
That's it. Cody, I want Cody to lose and then come out and admit he's a failure. And then I don't care what he does after that.
He would just declare for the next presidential election. That's all that would happen.
Just tell the people you let them all down and then just go off and go be depressed. Then I want weekly updates. I mean, not weekly, it's too much. Just want updates on Cody going to his house, vignettes. He's like, what's up, guys? Good to see you. Cody Rhodes. I've been hanging out on Twitch a lot lately. Me and my dog Pharaoh. Yeah. It's like a day in the life of Cody Rhodes as he's no longer a wrestler. Brandy's there getting all pissed at him. Why the fuck don't you get a job? Why don't you go out and make something of yourself?
My wife wants me to work at the yoga studio, but I just can't do it. I love it. The chat's like completely not paying attention to us. Right? God bless.
He does the Office, Parks and Rec, like cut in the solo shots, whatever they call those, the talking head.
The diary. Yeah, the diary.
Yeah, the diary shots. And he's like, I really love my wife and spending time with her. It's so great that I get to be home even more with her now that I'm not a wrestler. And then it cuts to Brandy. He's like, I'm tired of this bitch hanging out all day, eating all this food that I'm cooking. Brandy, when are we doing Shot of Brandy again? When are we bringing that back? I got a yoga studio to run. I'm trying to take care of this baby. I don't need Cody Rhodes in here. He's supposed to be out here making more money for us on the WWE run. What are we doing with this bus? This bus doesn't pay for itself. This is what I need. I need Rhodes to the top. Bring it back in this similar fashion as a weekly show on WWE. Weekly, just 5-minute clips as Cody has failed. It's like when Ben from Parks and Rec, he failed out of it. He got fired from the job or whatever, and he created the Cones of Dunshire game. And it was just, and Amy Poehler, our character, Leslie, was like, what have you been doing with your time all day? What is happening? All right. There, I've booked the next year for Cody.
Yeah, we'd have to get the interview. That's the whole thing. Sad Cody Rhodes. That's just how it starts. Anyway, we got 9 minutes left.
We got more time than that.
Well, I know. Do we want to?
Yeah. Hell yeah. The stop motion. Look what I did. Look what I did. Stand in. I spent 12 hours on this, and it's like 2 seconds of video.
Gonna be a big stop motion YouTuber.
Oh, so good. So good. This is what we need. This is what we need. I'm all for it. We've booked Cody. I've got it figured out. You're welcome, old Codester.
Poor sad Cody.
He gets visited by Ricky, but they gotta blur out his face and everything. Can't be shown on WWE TV. But Starks shows up, tries to give him some encouragement. QT's there, also face blurred out. He gets visited, just all his friends, but they gotta blur out other faces because they all work for different companies. Nobody at WWE visits him, by the way. He doesn't get any visits.
No, he's not important anymore. He didn't finish the story, so he doesn't get any visits. That's what happens.
Ricky might be world champion by then. I hope so.
Would be nice, wouldn't it? I like Ricky Starks. I do. Hey, do you have Netflix?
Allegedly.
I do not.
Really?
You have to get it next year. Although, so for the Canadians out there, the Raw Netflix deal is scary because all WWE programming is going to be on Netflix in 2025. Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Whereas in the US, it's just Raw for Netflix. And then USA gets SmackDown and the CW gets NXT. Great, wonderful. The WWE side of things on Sportsnet in Canada is what, $15 a month? Pretty affordable. Right now, if you want Netflix in Canada, it's $16.95 for the like mid-tier, the standard tier. Okay, fine. That's okay. And then they're gonna jack up those prices by then. I'm scared, Jeremy. But that's gonna be the only way that I can watch wrestling on or WWE from there.
Feels like there's other means to watch the wrestling.
Nah, I don't want to watch wrestling, especially not .la.
Fightful should provide their staff with subscriptions. This is a good. I like this.
So, I mean, peek behind the curtain. I do get to expense my $5 a month for TNA.
Oh, really?
YouTube. I do.
Oh,
I do. That's $5 a month. I'm pretty sure no one's. Well, I know no one's complained because no one's complained to me about that. It's $5 a month. Or if I'm covering a pay-per-view and I gotta order it, then same thing. I don't have to deal with that with any other pay-per-views because it's different. Although because we talk about it here, I'm just like AEW pay-per-views I don't have to worry about. But like, should I don't know. Could expense my WWE work. I don't get Peacock.
No. I get to expense Fight Triller by Fight. So Sean said he's going to expense Netflix, and Jimmy did not seem happy.
No, he would, because that sets a precedent. Yes, by the way, TNA is on YouTube. If you go on the YouTube, the Ultimate Insider package, you can pay. I think it's $1 a month if you want just the live TV, the weekly TV, and then for $5 a month you get all of the non-pay-per-view specials. So everything except for Hard to Kill, Bound for Glory, Slammiversary, and Rebellion, because those are their 4 traditional pay-per-views. Everything else is a monthly special. So $5 a month, you get those plus the TV. And the advantage is that the TV, it starts a half hour later and it's commercial free. So that's what I do.
This is 100%. Pharaoh's definitely going to have a role in this, especially he's going to do the diary thing. They're going to ask Pharaoh, hey, what do you think that Cody is home more often to play with you? And Pharaoh, he's eating like his kibbles and his bits or whatever. And then he's just like, Ruck! And that stands for fuck you.
Oh, Pharaoh hook. All right, dude. So yeah, that's the Netflix thing. And we talked about The Rock on the TKO board, and then Ava gets herself a job too.
What does The Rock do on this TKO board?
It's largely ceremonial. Like if you've ever been on a board of a nonprofit, it's you help make decisions, but you are not decision making. Although he does get $30 million in stock and the rights to his name back, so there is that.
Good on him. Yeah. Good on him. Nobody calls it. I love that he gave up on just like trying to be Dwayne Johnson the longest time ago. He's like, yeah, it ain't clicking. Everyone just knows me as The Rock, so I'm just billed as The Rock now. Good that he got his name back. What's in a name, really? But
yeah, exactly. It was just whatever. Anyway, it's amazing that you speak husky now, Jeremy. The accent was perfect. You need to get that head of
Cody says, I'm a Rock fan. I don't think he's the type that would come in and meddle with a story that's being told over the past 2 years. I think he's probably up to something else. But you never know with WWE. I'll be watching just like everybody else. Yes, The Rock does not have a history of just coming in and meddling with stories.
No, that's not him. They've never done that.
I did like the, CM Punk like reference that, but he's like, me, I'm the bigger star that's coming in to fuck up your story. But like, if you knew he was talking about The Rock coming in to screw up his story. So bless Cody, man. He's just this is why he would be great. He would be so good at this idea I've pitched here. Just like depressed Cody doing other stuff that's not wrestling. He'd be so good at it.
He would be great. I feel like he would do it, and then 3 weeks later we'd find out that I don't know. Remember when Raven left WCW programming and they did he was finding himself and it turned out he was a rich kid? Yeah, we do that, but then we find out that Cody is, I don't know, actually Canadian, not American Nightmare.
Oh man. That would be good. He's got to like rethink his whole tattoo at that point. He's like, oh, can they like do a Canadian flag style
Do I get it
on
renewed?
this?
Do I get it changed? What do I do?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many good stories you could just do with this. They got 500 writers. Come on, write some good Cody comedy out there.
Cody's
So
content
good.
farm. Anyway, it's Vincent's birthday today, not the AEW Vincent. So let's talk about Dynamite tonight. We got a great
Okay.
show.
What a transition that was, Joel. Jesus.
Yeah, no, I'm really good at this.
All right. Oh, they got a lot announced for this show.
Cody goes to Cuba to find himself.
Oh yeah.
And
See?
he's doing the cigar gimmick, and he's riding in an old 50s caddy. Let's go.
We can book this, man.
We could.
This is way better. This is way better than if Cody just wins the title and he's like, I'm the champion now. I finished my story. And then I don't know, Brock comes out and beats him up because that's all they know how to do.
Oh yeah, that's how it works.
Way better. Oh yeah, Cody Montana. Oh shit. He becomes a drug lord in Cuba. Oh.
Him and Santos Escobar become best friends and business partners.
Oh.
And then
good.
Santos has Electra Lopez, and then Cody brings in Brandy. Oh, imagine the tag team content.
Well, no, they're not wrestling though. Cody's not wrestling.
No, they're not. Sorry, different kind of tag teaming. Anyway, so AEW Dynamite is happening tonight.
Oh man, you can do so much with this. They cowardly if they just put the title on Cody.
It feels like we need to clip this and send it to Cody and say, "This is your story, Cody. You need to finish this story instead." Chapter 39. We're just skipping ahead to chapter 86.
Have Cookies make a short out of all of this.
I
I
don't
don't know how you can condense this.
Yeah, no, this can't be a minute. This is short form content.
All right, well, fine. Have him do a cool highlight video that he's done, and do one of those.
That sounds great.
Yeah, tell Cookies to work on this. I think it's great. This is great content.
Send him the timestamps, Jeremy. Send him the timestamps.
Man, I don't know what timestamps are. What are we talking about?
Literally the time in which we said things.
Oh, all right. Well, you keep track of that better than I do.
Well, that's fair. I mean, that is what we do.
All right. Okay.
Wait, hold on. We gotta. Speaking of timestamps and things that, you were gonna cough anyway. Speaking of timestamps and things that we get right, I'm gonna go back to December 17th of 2020 on a show called Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring.
Oh God.
Let's go. Here it is. Here it is. We said it. We said it would happen. I think you and I have talked about this a little bit. I know we have, and I'll bring it up again. In the next 5 to 10 years, probably closer to 5 than 10. You will be able to watch WWE programming on Twitch for your sub, if you have a Prime sub, whatever the subscription service is, they will do it. Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah, the model's changing, and it's fine. It's just with that you get direct analytics, and the information about that is a hell of a lot better than anything Nielsen ever had. So, I think it's worth 100%. Starting to plan for that transition because it's coming.
We finished our story by getting that Netflix deal for WWE. You're welcome.
I missed Tim as well.
I also missed Tim. He's so I said this on Twitter. I'll bring it up here. I have him updating our video. He's gonna do it. He's gonna update the intro.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's gonna do it. And then, so we were talking on Sunday night about this, and then we were just talking about stuff back and forth. And then yesterday, all the news comes out about the TKO, the Netflix deal, and everything. And then I sent him the photo of Vince without the mustache, and he's just like, "Oh, son of a bitch, what do we do?" And I say, "You double down,
dude." That stock exchange where Rock, Triple H, Vince, Ari Emanuel, they're all happy and stuff.
No, there are a lot of soulless eyes in that picture.
Nick Khan is back there just like plotting, man. Just plotting. I don't know what he's plotting. Could be good, could be bad. That man he's just, oh, bless him. He was plotting something though, that's for sure. He didn't give a fuck about this announcement. This is a historic day for WWE and Netflix and The Rock and stuff. And Nick Khan is just thinking of it might even be as simple as where am I going to have a nice steak dinner at tonight? That's it. That man he was not present in that moment. He was plotting something probably bigger than a steak dinner, but that man was plotting.
he was thinking, oh, I gotta do McAfee. What am I gonna
Nah,
say?
he wasn't thinking that at all. I think he likes
He's probably thinking, oh, Jim Cramer. Is he gonna tell people to sell TKO stock? It'd be so long.
Nick Khan, stay scheming, baby.
Oh God, where am I gonna do these interviews from? Do they have a room for me? Where am I gonna go?
Definitely not that. No, that Nick Khan's not high, Joel.
Oh God, did I turn off the stove in my room?
Why is Nick Khan like just
That's the
smoke a J before this? This was not Nick Khan was not high at all.
We don't know.
Nick Khan was
uh,
fully in his right mind.
how much can I buy AEW for?
Yeah.
Can I do this with other wrestling companies, or is this too niche? Man, this suit feels great.
All right. Let's recover after last week. It's been a rough week, everybody.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Still congested and all this stuff. All right. Set me up, Joel.
AEW Dynamite tonight, Savannah, Georgia. Cody Rhodes will not be there, and neither will Steven Jensen because he's a coward, mostly because Cody Rhodes will not be there. But instead, we have a big main event and a busy card that's been set since Monday, although we added one more match this morning, last night. I don't know. Tony was like, Thunder Rosa has a match. Go ahead, Tony.
Thanks, Joel. That was an awful job that you did, but I'm very excited to talk about AEW Dynamite tonight, live, 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS. We are returning to Savannah, Georgia, one of the great homes of AEW, where a lot of historic things have happened in Georgia. And one man who has a lot of great history in Georgia as the centerpiece of WCW is Sting. Sting will be live tonight on AEW Dynamite, TBS, 8 p.m. Eastern. He and Darby Allin will speak. What will they have to say? Will they go after the AEW tag team titles? Will they address the Young Bucks and their EVP status and possibly the match at AEW Revolution? There's only one way to find out, and that's to tune in live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS 2, AEW Dynamite. You gotta watch Sting! The AEW Trios Championships are on the line. The Acclaimed, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens with Billy Gunn will take on the Mogul Embassy, Brian Cage, Toa Leona, and Khan, also known as the Gates of Agony. It's a big AEW Trios Championships. Even though that the Mogul Embassy lost the ROH six-man tag team titles the other week, now they're getting a shot at the AEW Trios Championships against the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, because the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn have formed the Bang 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 Scissor Gang 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 with the Bullet Club Gold, Jay White, and the Gun Club. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang hold all of the six-man and trios titles in AEW. But will that be the case after tonight when the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn defend the AEW Trios Championships against the Mogul Embassy? There's only one way to find out. Tune in live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. TBS AEW Dynamite. Thunder Rosa is back in action. She'll be taking on Red Velvet in singles action. Thunder Rosa's on a path to reclaim the AEW Women's Championship or possibly go after Julia Hart in the AEW TBS Championship. Thunder Rosa coming off a big victory the other week. She will now look for her second singles victory since her return against Red Velvet, who's going to look to stir it up against the great Thunder Rosa. It's so exciting to have Thunder Rosa back here in AEW, back in action on AEW Dynamite, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS. We also have the AEW Women's Champion Timeless, Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. They will meet face-to-face. You won't want to miss this classic showdown between the AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo in a face-to-face. What will Deonna Purrazzo have to say to Toni Storm? Will Toni Storm even speak to Deonna Purrazzo? Or will Mariah May speak for her? Will RJ City speak for her? He's not actually employed by us. Will Luther speak for her? The only way to find out is to tune in live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite on TBS as the AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm meets Deonna Purrazzo face-to-face. We got a tremendous singles matches, everybody. You do not want to miss all these great singles matches because the rankings are back and a lot of competitors are going to look to establish themselves in the rankings. And the only way to do that is to step inside the ring, like Samoa Joe said, and bring your record and bring your reputation. Well, the records will be visible to everyone now because the rankings are back. And we got 4 tremendous singles matches on AEW Dynamite, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS. We have Wardlow taking on Trent. Trent, one of the best wrestlers we have in AEW. Wardlow, who is made his intentions clear, going after the AEW World title. He's to get there. He's got to get through the great Trent. First off tonight, live 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, TBS. Also in singles action, Jeff Hardy. He's been wanting this opportunity. He's been wanting to be on Dynamite. He's been complaining with his hoe-ass comments on social media that he's not been on Dynamite. Now he's on Dynamite, and he's got a tough task in front of him as he takes on Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland building off this great momentum in the AEW Continental Classic, defeating the tough Dustin Rhodes at AEW World's End, defeating Daniel Garcia, stepping to Samoa Joe. Swerve Strickland will look to continue his momentum when he faces Jeff Hardy in singles competition live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, TBS. Also, Hangman Page. Hangman Page is looking to continue his momentum as well. He lost to Swerve Strickland in the Texas Death Match, but he's picked up victories over the likes of Roderick Strong since then. And Hangman Page will now look to defeat Penta El Zero Miedo, who will establish their momentum in the AEW rankings, which are returning. The only way to find out is to tune in live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, and all of that, plus a special, a big match, a tremendous match, one of the biggest matches we've ever booked in AEW. Minoru Suzuki has answered the Cope Open, Adam Copeland Open Challenge. Minoru Suzuki has answered it. He will face Adam Copeland. I'm dying out here. He will face.
Keep trying, Tony. I know you got this. I believe in you. You're doing so great, buddy. I am.
He will face Adam Copeland tonight live.
Oh, you almost had it.
AEW Dynamite, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS, Minoru Suzuki, Adam Copeland for the first time ever, for possibly the only time ever, commercial free on TBS. AEW Dynamite, 8 p.m. Eastern, Adam Copeland, Minoru Suzuki, AEW Dynamite, TBS. You don't want to miss it. Thank you to the great AEW fans. AEW. Thank you, fans. Thank you. Thank you, AEW.
It feels like the bit is literally dying.
Justified. This is awesome. Justified. This is awesome, Chad. Thank you to the great fans of AEW. Happy New Year.
Wow, Lambs came out at the end of that one. So, how you feeling, Tony?
Oh my God. Oh.
Now's your chance to give him some money for this. Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to hit that cough button while you're at it? Oh man, this is awesome. Clap, 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 clap. Wow, he's just going. Yeah, that was money. That was money. So I'll give you happy anniversary. That was one of mine. I clipped that for old Tim and Joel. Oh, don't worry.
Oh
it's
my
okay.
gosh.
You know what? I'm proud of you, Jeremy. You showed grit, you showed completion, and you never forget to do
sacrifice
for this business.
Well, you know, Joel, what this is really all about, Joel, why I do this, why I had to finish that, what it's all about, Joel, it's about drive, it's about power. I stay hungry. I devour. I put in the work. I put in the hours and take what's ours, Joel. That's what it's all about.
Very proud of you.
It's all about.
He sits at the head of a different table now, though. I'm sorry. You know, that's what I was going to do, by the way, was that was the thumbnail. I have a photo of The Rock sitting at a table, and I was going to be like sitting at the head of the table, and I decided this was much better. We ended up doing much better today. Jeremy, is there anything else you want to plug before we get on out of here?
No, I'm going to die, everybody. But what a way to go.
Out like a lion and in like death.
Oh, my gosh.
We're back on Friday, as we always are. We're going to talk about Dynamite, I'm sure of it. And, of course, anything else that drops. A lot of people have a lot of theories and a lot of feelings about the SI article, so I'm sure you have heard ours, and now you will form your own. Go read the article. Don't just read the aggregation accounts who are putting out quotes here and there. Read the article, form your opinion, you'll see why I said what I said, and you'll see how you feel about it. Jeremy, you said you didn't want to plug anything, so that's great. You got something for us? You want to plug something?
Hold on, Joel.
Spotlight is tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. over on the main channel. I'll plug that for Jeremy and for Jensen.
Thank you. No, I don't. I'm tired. I'm old. My voice is shot. Everybody, it is what it is.
See you on Friday, 10 a.m. I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPERL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one.